Hey guys, how's it going? So as you can tell from last video, we completely finished up the front end of the car. The headlights are installed, the bumper's installed, the grille's installed, fog light covers, it all looks really good. So now that we finally got the engine parts in, today we're going to be finishing up the engine and fingers crossed we're going to be driving the car. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first order of business is we need to replace the AC condenser. Okay guys, so as you can see, we removed the old one. There's a side-by-side comparison between the two. And that specifically right there is the hole that I was talking about. So we're just going to put the brand new one back in there, and then we can start installing the radiator and other good stuff. So let's get to it. Okay guys, so before we can go any further with the car, we actually need to retap this hole for the power steering pump banjo bolt. It unfortunately, the previous owner must have cross-threaded a little bit, but we just want to clean these threads up so that the bolt goes in nice and smooth, and then we'll have a secure power steering connection. So we're going to go retap the hole. Now, as you guys can tell, it screws in without any problem. Feels super smooth. Now I feel comfortable putting this back on the car. So let's go install the power steering lines. Alright guys, so we were working on the car, getting things almost finished up, and then we went to put the downpipe on, and two of the studs on the turbo flange are completely stripped, so we're going to need to replace those. And then we also need to get some extra boost line because we have to attach a boost gauge that's inside the car, and so we're going to need a couple extra feet to do that. So we're going to run to the store, grab that, and also some transmission fluid. Alright guys, so we got some transmission fluid, we got some boost line, and we got a couple bolts we need for the turbo, so we're going to get back to it and install that so we can take the car for a spin. So let's get into it. Alright, so as you guys just saw, we installed the downpipe, we installed all the boost lines to the boost controller, we installed a couple heater lines to the turbo and to the radiator. So now all that's left to do is install the air intake and the intercooler, and then we're good to start it. So let's finish it up. So as you guys just saw, that air intake system was super strange. I wasn't the one who pulled it off the car, nor was I the one who bought it. I'm guessing it just fits right here through the fender, and the intake just sits right below the ground, which seems super strange to me, as you'd think it would just pull dust right off the road. But that's how it is for now. I'll probably buy a new one, but I just want to kind of get the car running. So now we're going to install the intercooler, and then we're good to start it. So let's finish it up. All right, guys, so as you can tell, the motor is entirely put together. We're completely ready to start the car. The only thing we need to do is add in some coolant. So we're gonna add the coolant and then we're gonna start it up. Let's do it. All right, guys, so as you can tell, this isn't your ordinary funnel. What it does is you have this attachment that fits onto the, to where you fill up the coolant, and then it allows you to put the funnel on, pretty much making the funnel part of the cooling system. So that way, if it bubbles out the coolant when we're bleeding the system, it doesn't spill or leak anywhere. And this way, the coolant system gets 100% full of coolant without any air bubbles. So we're gonna fill it up and we're gonna start it. All right, guys, so the car is now completely full of coolant, full of oil. All the intake is attached, the electrical is attached. So now we're ready to give it its first official start. Well, first official start with all the accessories attached. So let's do it. Prime the fuel system. That's really weird. I didn't do that the first time. Let's try disconnecting that sensor. All right, guys, so as you saw, we were able to start the car. It ran, the car drove, but there's a couple minor issues that we had. First issue was the mass airflow sensor is bad, and how we know that is when the airflow sensor is plugged in, the car is a very rough idle, but as soon as you unplug the sensor, it runs really smooth and really good. And now, secondly, as you can tell, it has an aftermarket radiator, and at the time, I didn't realize that the aftermarket radiator would increase the coolant capacity so much. So we have an extra jug of coolant we're going to throw into the car, and then we're going to take it for another test drive, and hopefully all the kinks should be worked out. So let's wrap it up. Alright guys, so what I'm doing right now is the power steering pump was disconnected. That means there's air that got into the lines. So right now, by turning the wheel back and forth, we're slowly bleeding the air out of the power steering system. So that way we have a nice smooth power steering and it doesn't kind of knock and jitter around. So once we complete bleeding the power steering, we're gonna go take it for a spin. Guys, so as you can tell, right now we're in the blue car. It's driving really well. The turbo's working, the engine's working. The only thing I'm noticing is it really needs new suspension. There's a ton of road noise and you can just feel everything through the car. So I think that's what we'll be doing in the future, is installing some new struts onto it. But other than that, it's a great car. Alright guys, so as you just saw, we took the blue car for a spin. The car runs really well. The power steering is smooth. The only issue that we experienced was the suspension. It's really bad. You can feel every bump in the road. You can also hear them. So we're definitely going to be replacing that in a future video. But overall, really happy with how the blue car turned out. So thanks for watching.